Hey everyone, welcome back for another brand new video about that universe where the cure might end up being worse than the virus, The Walking Dead. Warning, beyond this point there are spoilers for people who are not up to date in the Walking Dead television universe and the Image comic books. In this video, we're going to give you our binge breakdown of a brand new sneak peek for Fear the Walking Dead's upcoming season, which might have some huge implications for the overall franchise. As it's been a while since we talked TWD-U news, we're also going to give you our Rampage recap of everything we know about every one of the spin-offs. Before we get all universal, let's take a look at this sneak peek.
Binge. Rampage.
The scene opens up with Madison, the recently returned Fear Day 1 OG, seemingly locked in some kind of cell. Two people have just entered, presumably from the mysterious and clandestine Fear community called Padre due to the headgear worn by the person on the right. The character on the left seems to be in charge here, and for some reason she calls Madison Laura. Madison seems almost comatose as the guard tells her it's time for some sort of weekly check. The former Fear matriarch is taken over to the bed where it's clear she hasn't been eating. What happened to her? Madison got a kind of dark cover story for her long absence, but the last time we saw her, she wasn't in a depression daze. The guard threatens Madison that they can force her to eat, and side note, it's kind of gross that she has a toilet chair in her cell. As Madison's arm is prepped for some type of injection, we see a lot of bruising there, telling us she has probably had a lot of injections over the last few months or years. Madison's blood is taken, so it seems like some experiment has been done on her, or she is being routinely tested for some type of reaction in her body. We believe this scene might tie to a hunt for the cure, and that because Madison's daughter Alicia has survived by far the longest with a walker bite, that these tests may be after the same resistance to the wildfire virus. If these experiments have to do with the origin of the virus or curing it, the storyline could end up connecting to Daryl's spinoff or Rick and Michonne's. After Madison gives her blood, the guard puts a cotton ball over her terrible looking arm before the two go to leave. This is where things get dark. Madison grabs the gun off guard 2 and doesn't even try to shoot the guards, she immediately tries to kill herself. What has happened on Fear? Who died? Did everyone die? The boss guard immediately sedates Mrs. Clark and shrugs off the thought of bringing live ammo into Madison's cell.
You really think we'd bring live ammo down here?
How many times has she tried to kill herself? The guard tells Madison Padre won't let her die, and the scene ends with Madison passing out. This sneak peek was weird AF. All we have is questions, which will lead us into our Rampage recap of everything we know about every series, starting with Fear. The Television Critics Association's winter press tour this week gave us some huge updates about the TWD-Universe. The first huge piece of news was that Fear's 8th season is going to be its last. The season will be shortened with only 12 episodes, which will be divided into two 6-part blocks that start airing on May 14th. Season 8B will air at some point this year, and our bet is on August or October. We find out that Morgan and Madison try their mission to rescue Morgan's kid from Padre, but apparently they fail because a 7-year time jump happens and everyone is living under Padre rule and things aren't going so good. This means that sneak peek is most likely from after that long time jump. With the 7-year fast forward, Fear approximately lines up around the flagship's final season. What's even funnier is that Fear's Season 8 has already shot footage in Georgia where TWD filmed for its entire lifespan. Are we getting any crossover action? We believe at the very least, 1 or 2 characters will pop up for the final season. Now, let's talk about the Daryl Dixon spinoff. We got a description released by AMC that matched some info we already talked about in a previous video. The only updated news we got since our last coverage is that the French chapter of TWD is supposed to air in the fall of this year. Let's hope there's no delays and that they ship Dog over there too. As far as the Dead City spinoff, there are some important things to know. First, we thought the series was airing in April, but the release date has been pushed back to June, with an exact date coming soon. New photos have been floating around from the series, but there were no huge reveals or info dumps in those images that we could find. The most important info we got came from a tweet by a correspondent from Insider about footage shown from that same panel at AMC's Television Critics Association press tour. Apparently, some new bad guys kidnapped Herschel. This terrible action prompts Maggie to go to Negan of all people for help. We also know by a recent description that years have passed since TWD, so has Maggie had a falling out with the other survivors? Did they all leave for different spin-offs? Why is Negan the only one helping? Or is he? We also know from the earlier description released that the two are on the run from some kind of a marshal and hunting down a killer. Does the killer have Herschel? The other big piece of story info we get is that Manhattan has been cut off from the mainland and it contains its own unique threats. What kind of new zombies are in store for Negan and Maggie? We can't wait until June to find out. Our bet is that Dead City will either premiere right after Fear's Season 8 finale or a week later, which would give it a date of June 18th or 25th. Next up, let's talk about Tales of the Walking Dead. Sadly, there's no news. At least it hasn't been cancelled. We hope that they can harness the power of this anthology series to connect the universe a lot more than it did in Season 1, if it ever gets picked up again. What do you think? Can Tales be saved? Is it worth it? Before we get into the last series we're going to talk about, and probably the reason why you came, we just ask that you take a quick second to smash that like button. If you're feeling generous, you could even hit the subscribe button so you can help us to keep bringing you great new content every week. There are multiple pieces of info we want to cover about the Rick and Michonne series. First off, there's already been a delay. Huge surprise. Originally, all 3 new spin-offs were being promoted as airing in 2023, but now, the series about the man who started it all and his sword-wielding wife won't air until early 2024. DANAI GURIRA has said that the series, which is only going to be a limited series, was going to air around Halloween of this year. If those extra few months make a huge difference in the quality of the story, then we aren't going to complain about it. This spin-off better be f***ing good. Supposedly, the series is already in production, and we know pre-production kicked into gear right after the new year by these IG posts from series frontwoman DANAI GURIRA. In our searches about the production, we found a posting on the Film and Television Industry Alliance website which gives us a title for the Rick and Michonne series, The Walking Dead Summit. We've heard this thrown around as a Walking Dead title before, so we believe this may not end up being the final title, but it also could be the final title as we think it's a good one. What would you call this series? We also learned from that same posting that the show will be filming in New Jersey and Georgia from February 13th to March 16th. If they are already shooting, why will the post-production process take so long on this one? We believe there may be some bigger world connecting scenes that may end shooting, which could require cast or crew from any one of the other active or inactive spin-offs, which could be why AMC chose to announce a delay so early in the year. The last thing we learned about the series from this posting was a list of directors. Strange enough, there's a dozen names there, including TWD-OG Michael Cudlitz and of course the godfather of the genre, Greg Nicotero. We searched all the other names and everyone else on the list had some type of Walking Dead universe credits, 1 directed Fear and 2 on the list directed World Beyond. Will crew also be pulled in from the spin-offs? Why are there 12 names listed for directing? Has AMC secretly doubled the series order? They initially billed the show as having 6 episodes, but it is possible things have changed. What do you think? How many episodes will Rick and Michonne have? AMC also put out an official statement to coincide with the TCA panel about all of the upcoming series, which was very cryptic and gave us no real info, but did hint that Rick and Michonne could somehow be on opposite sides of a war against the dead and living. We know Rick is being held against his will, so clearly the Grimes don't need couples counseling, they just need to be together, but the thought of them somehow forced on the opposite sides in a fight is terrifying. These could be the very last episodes ever in the Walking Dead universe if Daryl's series doesn't go the rumored 3 seasons we've heard about, and if Dead City dies after its first installment. What do you think? Could the Walking Dead universe actually end in 2024? We don't think so, but with so much restructuring going on in the streaming and network world, anything can happen. It's been a long and crazy ride through the land of the dead. As long as we get a dog-centric episode of Tales of the Walking Dead, we can live with that. Thanks so much for watching our videos, everybody. As always, we're on the lookout for any new promo videos or insider info to help prove or disprove all the rumors and theories out there about our favorite show that became an entire universe, The Walking Dead. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok at Binge Rampage. Click that notifications bell for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out, and don't forget to subscribe.
Kill me.
What did you say?
If you have to kill someone, there has to be punishment, then kill me.